Welcome to LCCAP Legacy, Decades of Dedication, the podcast that celebrates the incredible individuals who have shaped the heart and soul of the Lawrence County Community Action Partnership.
Each episode, we'll dive deep into the stories of those who have devoted their careers to making a difference, not just in our organization, but in the lives of the people we serve every day.
We'll uncover their journeys, explore the moments that inspire them, and highlight the lasting impact of their commitment to LCCAP's mission.
So whether you're here to learn, be inspired, or simply celebrate the amazing people who make LCCAP what it is, thank you for joining us.
This is LCCAP Legacy, Decades of Dedication.
Let's get started with today's guest.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Thanks for listening in. Today we have in our studio my wonderful co-hosts, Janae and Amber.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
And we also have a very special guest, Martin. He is our computer resource and data coordinator. So welcome, Martin. Thanks for coming in today.
Good morning.
So Marty, thank you for coming in, like Kim said. So take us to the beginning of your career here. What was your first day like?
Actually, I came in early, and they took me over to my new office, which was probably about half the size of this studio. I had one desk and one little metal chair.
And before we recorded, you said your first day was?
September 10th, 2002.
Nice. So you have been with the company for a while. So when you first started, what was your original role with the company?
It's pretty much what I do now. So, of course, over time it's expanded. But when I first started, there was 5 computers and 1 server, and not a lot of databases to work with. So it's expanded over many, many computers and many databases.
So what kind of systems are you in charge of?
Pretty much anything that's plugged in as far as tech-wise. So I'll start with the simple stuff like copiers, printers, desktop computers, laptops, iPads, Android tablets, cell phones, mobile hotspots, networking, and we could go on quite a bit. So
pretty much everything.
Yeah. So
Lots of things.
yeah, software contracts.
So what are some technical skills that are most important for someone in your position, Martin?
I think probably the most important skill for any person in IT is the ability to adapt and learn. So the technical skills themselves, they usually come with time. So say, for instance, you're just getting into the IT field. You want to be able to read and implement what you read to fix and troubleshoot.
Have you always been interested in like computers and technological work?
Well, when my dad was a radar technician in Vietnam, and he was always into electronics. So something came out, he would pick it up and he'd play with it. And obviously, we're kids that were always interested in what your parents are doing. So my dad picked up a computer when we were pretty young. I started getting into computers then. I remember, sorry, it's a little emotional for me since my dad's passed away, but we used to sit in the basement and do coding together. So,
Aww.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's so nice.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing, Martin.
Yeah, he's the one that really led me on this path. Sorry. Didn't expect to go that route with that question. So,
But that's nice that you can share it with us.
Yeah, and we've never would have known that. And I mean, being a radar, you said technician, that's incredible. Like,
Yeah.
I've never even, what all does that entail?
He never went into a lot of detail. He used to have a lot of technical books from when he was in the service. When I went into, because my degree is in electronics, and at the time, electronics covered computers. So I read a lot of the technology that he had. So as far as the manuals, that's kind of how I got started. So
Nice. And throughout your years of working on different maybe computers or systems, was there one in particular that really stuck out with you, or one that you liked over, maybe another?
I wouldn't say that there's any particular system that I prefer. So they constantly change. So what you might like today, they get improve and then build on in the future. So it's always constant change. So
What are some changes that you're looking forward to seeing coming in the future in technology?
I'm not sure I can say I'm really looking forward to any of the changes. Technology changes so fast. Is the hard part's keeping up with technology. So you constantly have to be reading up, checking the news, seeing what's going on. So it would be nice to see technology get to a point where it doesn't require so much babysitting. But unfortunately, I don't see that ever getting to a point. So there's always going to have to be people that work on technology. So even if the technology advances, there's got to be somebody to maintain it. So
Just job security for you.
well, yeah, for everybody. So as the work requirements change, different, people are going to move into those jobs. So people move to where there's work. So
Are there any tools, Martin, or software that you can't live without on your daily workday?
most of my stuff is done in office and email. So I'll be honest, most of my time is spent doing communication. So back and forth with contractors and vendors, my own staff, directors, so pretty much those tools right there. So tech-wise, I have a whole bunch of tools that I use, like tools to scan the network, tools to update software. That's about it.
And I want to mention, too, you have a great staff.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, your staff are wonderful. Anytime we ever need anything, they're always right there. So
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with my guys.
Yeah,
And girls.
yes, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to mention that to you, Martin.
And obviously, this is a pretty big organization and you are overseeing a lot of different things, a lot of different computers. So how do you kind of stay organized? And also, how do you work with other people who are learning these new systems and helping them get through it?
We basically just use folders, OneNote, OneDrive to store our documentation. So we have little how-tos. We have documentation on pretty much everything. So like servers, network configuration, how computers are set up, how to set up a user. So we try and make it as follow the guide and step by step as possible. So we also have some stuff we give out to first-time users so that help them set up as well. So it's all files and folders. So nothing special.
Mm-hmm. Just try to simplify it for people.
Exactly. Yeah. If it's written down, it's easy to repeat. So.
Since we are such a big organization and we do handle a lot of very sensitive information, how do you ensure data security across the organization?
Well, without going into a lot of detail about that, everybody has permissions based on what they do. So we try to restrict those permissions. So if you don't require access to client information, we try to we set up so that you don't have access. So there's a bunch of different tools in Microsoft products that do that, and those are what we use. So that's usually determined by your director. So if your director says, I need Amber to have access to this database and this type of access, that's how we set it up. So.
And Martin, what advice would you give to somebody looking to get into the data coordination and IT resource management?
I would say be willing to learn, grow, and adapt. I mean, that's IT in general. Everything in IT is, what you know today might be irrelevant tomorrow. You have to pick up and learn that information and then apply it. So. And then be willing to take that first step to get in the door. So a lot of companies just want someone who's starting out, and you have to be willing to do those jobs to advance in the career. So a lot of people they want to come out of college, go into a really high paying job that's top level, and that's, we get a lot of people that come here, and that's not how it happens. So usually get in the door and then work your way up.
And you did mention at the beginning of the episode, when you first started with LCAP, there was only about 5 computers, and now
yes.
there are numerous amounts of systems. So what has it been like for you watching the evolution of how LCAP has been able to grow with technology, and then also just as an organization and being a part of that?
When I started here, I think we had maybe, Head Start had just come on, so there wasn't that many employees either. So, but it's grown exponentially over the years. So now we're up to like 400 computers. Our buses have technology in them, so it's shocking to see how fast we've grown and how far we've gone in. It seems like a short time to me, even though it's been like 20-some years. But it's been amazing. So.
And what would you say the most rewarding thing about your job has been throughout the years?
I like to help people with technology, so I've always been a helper. So I'm the kind of guy, if someone's lifting something by himself, I'm going to step in. So I've always been that kind of person. And since my skill set is more technology driven, I don't mind helping people. So people like to, when they ask you for help, they're embarrassed usually because, one, they can't figure it out on their own. But a lot of people, especially in IT support, we like to help. So it's not like you're not putting us out. We're not upset about it. We're busy sometimes, but we're always happy to help. So.
Well, that's nice to know, because sometimes even myself, I'm like, do I really want to ask Marty about this, or should I just figure it out on my own?
Yeah, it never hurts just to ask. So, quick email, and then we can usually respond to it. And I hate to say it, but there's, even though there's 4 of us, we're always pretty busy. So
It's good to know that you guys aren't annoyed with us for asking for help all the time.
no,
Because there's 4 of you and 400 of us.
yeah. So, but I don't think even Chris and Brandon and Eric, they're all very helpful. So.
They sure are.
They are.
So one of the main things of our podcast here is legacy. And I like to ask each of our guests, once you're done here, what is that legacy that you're hoping to leave with the company?
I haven't really thought about that too much, to be honest. Not that I'm young, but I would hope that I would leave a legacy, at least IT, based on keeping up with technology, being helpful and friendly, and helping the agency grow. So, like I said, when I started here, there's like 5 computers, and it has been, it's been kind of exciting to, because there's always changes and there's always new things to learn. And I think, as long as we keep growing and then helping the agency grow with the technology needs, maybe that would be the legacy. So.
And before you go, is there one thing that you would like to maybe implement, or some form of technology that you would love to see the agency inquire before heading out?
I think our next step really is going to be AI-driven technology. Even though it's such a big news item today, it's still not quite where it needs to be. So I would say probably in the next 5 years, AI would be driving a lot of client questions. So I think probably AI is where we're going to be growing in the future. So it'd be nice to see that come in and make things easier for our clients to receive services. So.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. And we'll go ahead and wrap up the personal round, and we'll make our way to the next round. And what that round is the quick fire round. And how it works is we're going to ask you a series of questions, and you'll just answer with the first thing that comes to your mind.
Oh, okay.
So I'll have Kim and Amber go ahead and take it away.
All right, Marty. Apple or Android?
Android.
Wow.
I wasn't going to.
shocked.
Yeah, I wouldn't believe that.
Apple's very restrictive.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Android's a little less restrictive, but Apple's a little more restrictive and more costly.
Huh. I I'm really shocked. Yeah, that's good to know, Martin. And then if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Save early and often.
That's a good one.
Yes,
What is one piece of outdated technology that you miss?
flip phones.
That's a good one.
And nowadays, when you open your phone, it used to be you'd open your phone maybe if you were lucky had a text or someone would call you. But now you open your phone, you have access to all the news, all your email, and there's a lot of stuff there. So it's hard to limit the time you spend on those devices.
It is.
The flip phone I got. I was 15 when I started my first job, so that was my first flip phone. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, if you can control yourself, it's easy. But the problem is, it's so easy to open those apps, and then just once you dive in, it's hard to pull yourself back out.
Absolutely. I remember when the games on the phone used to be like the snake game where you follow
Yes.
the ball around.
Yep.
Now you can have any game you can think of. But that's
And didn't we have to pay to text too?
Yeah.
Like when
Yeah.
you
It
text
was like
message, it was
30 cents a text or something like that.
and you got free minutes after like 9 or something.
Yes.
We're showing our ages now, but yes.
After 9 o'clock, you could talk. And then I saw too on Facebook, and I know it's a little off topic, but somebody said, "Whose number is this?" And it was like a 724-658, I forget, but it was the weatherman. We used to call the weatherman's number to see the weather. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Just going off of ages. I thought that was pretty funny that I just saw that last night.
And it's not that the new technology is bad. It's just, I wouldn't say it's addictive either. It's just, it captures your attention and holds it for so long, and then time goes by. So
You
we
don't
all
realize
have
it.
a limited amount of time. So.
And then if you, Martin, were stranded on a desert island with one of our coworkers here at LCCAP, who would it be and why?
That's a tough
Like
question.
Gilligan's Island.
So I'm trying to think who would be very resourceful with like camping or something like that, but I can't think of anybody at the moment. So, but
Jimmy Ferris.
Oh,
Yeah, Jim would be a good one.
Yeah,
He knows everything.
Oh, he does.
He'll keep you alive too. He went to med school, so
Oh, well,
And if he could fix like a plane, he could fly you out.
I would probably have to say it would be Chris because she pretty much supports me in everything I do. So.
Oh, I love Chris too. She is amazing.
and you guys are
She's
the
best.
dynamic duo. So
Yeah, they sure are.
What is your go-to snack during a long work day?
I pretty much drink coffee, so that's about it. So.
He sure does. Yes. He always has coffee. And I just asked him the other day, I said, Martin, it's 4:00. Are you still drinking coffee? And that day he was actually, but usually he stops early.
Yeah, I usually don't drink it that late. But my parents were heavy coffee drinkers when we were kids. They got us addicted to that. So.
And then what do you enjoy doing, Martin, in your spare time?
Well, I used to be a pretty heavy gamer, so I'm not so much now. So, but watching TV, spending time with my wife. That's about it. Mostly maintaining the house and cutting grass. So.
And you also enjoy going to the farmers markets too.
Oh, yeah.
You do.
And what has been your favorite game system throughout the years?
I've always been a PC gamer. So,
Okay, nice.
Back when gaming came out ages ago, so back in the early 90s. So.
And if your job were a movie, what would the title be?
That is a tough question there. So we would like to think that my job should be, well, in that IT, if nothing's happening, that's a good thing. So we want things to be updated and move along. So, maybe a day in the life. So kind of would be a title. So, but we want it to constantly be a boring movie. That's what IT wants. So we don't want things getting exciting because when things are exciting, things are broken. So.
And before we wrap up the episode, is there anything else that you would like to talk about or touch on before?
Not that I was thinking, but during this whole process, I thought this might be an excellent way to put out like security recommendations or little
Absolutely. Go ahead and fill us in.
little tips for, ongoing. So little tips for how to protect yourself versus phishing and email scams and things like that. So, and security processes. So might be something to consider in the future. So if you guys are interested in doing something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we get into like maybe the longer conversation, if you have like maybe a few tidbits that you want to just drop for employees while they're listening, like do not click on certain emails that look suspicious.
Yeah, I think the majority of the issues are when an email comes in, they're trying to capture your attention to get you to immediately panic click on whatever's links in the email. So the main goal is always stop and think before you click. So just because the email comes from somebody who says they're your supervisor doesn't necessarily mean that it's from them. So you always want to verify who it's from. Make sure you the email is intended for you, and then once you're sure, then you can click on the link. But don't just click. So the whole idea is to make you panic and click. So we want to avoid that.
Nice. And I also want to plug in one tidbit that I did learn in one of our coordinator meetings is that you guys actually prefer if someone needs to reach out to IT is to put in a submission ticket and not email you. So many people in the company may not know that. So if you guys are looking for any troubleshoots or things that might be going wrong with your technology, reach out to you guys in a certain way.
Yeah. A ticket's always the best way for non-essential items. So you come into the office, maybe your printer's not printing, send us a ticket. So if you come in and you can't work, that's always an emergency. Obviously, you don't want you sitting there just drinking coffee all day. So you can always give us a call if it's an emergency. If you call us and it turns out not to be an emergency, we're not going to be upset about that. It's just, we try to prioritize the tickets so that it speeds everything up. But we're never going to say, "Oh, Amber shouldn't have called us," just because her mouse wasn't working. We're going to say we'll try to fix it there, or if we can't fix it because we're busy, we'll say it's not an emergency. We'll get back with it. So.
Nice. Well, thank you so much, Marty, for joining the episode and the show. We greatly appreciate it. You guys are only a team of 4, but you're a mighty team and you handle so much here at LCCAP. So we just want to say thank you for all that you guys do. And thank you for joining the show.
Yeah, thank you. I was actually pleasantly surprised.
Well, good. We try to tell people it's really not that bad. Yeah. We don't bite.
Yeah. We're happy that you came in today, Martin. We appreciate it.
We are.
Thank you, guys.
Well, that'll do it for this episode of LCCAP Legacy Decades of Dedication, and we will be back next week with another special guest. Thank you for listening.
Have a great weekend, everyone.
Bye-bye.